Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tad Talk, Season 2, Episode 2. And no idea what day it is or date it is. Don't really care now. Kind of in the middle of this. But I know we got a great show. We had a great show yesterday to kick off the season. Today's not going to be any different. First guest, fantastic magician, wonderful guy, and quite a history in show business. Welcome to the show, Rob Rasner.
Hello.
How you doing, Rob?
Good.
Hey, what's all this?
This is my COVID beard. My mom and my friends are like, why don't you dye it? And I said, because I don't normally have a beard. So what's the point in keeping anything up? So it's going to come off before we go back to work.
True,
this, that to me.
Love it. Also on the show, I believe in Oklahoma City right now, a wonderful friend of Tad's, great singer, great entertainer. Welcome, Austin J. Morris. Austin.
Hello. Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm actually just jealous of Rob's beard right now. I had a trimming accident the other day. I had to shave mine off and start over. So I'm just very jealous of how good Rob looks today.
I got the idea from Yvonne Pical, the juggler. He's huge right now.
Yeah, iPhone's gone like massive. And all our Tad team are getting all confused here, Austin, because we used to see a bald head and a massive beard, and now we've got hair and
changed it all up.
And I normally have hair and no beard, and now I have no hair and a huge beard.
Yeah, when they start showing promo photos, they're going to think that you're me, because that's
true. Well, welcome to the show. It's going to be a blast today. And we start off, as we always do, with 3 random questions. And we're going to start with this. We're going to start with you, Rob. If you could change one thing, think about it, change one thing that happened in your career, anything, what would you change?
I wish I would have probably gotten into magic a lot earlier. I started late. And then also that I probably wish that I had more confidence early on. I made friends in the business that I learned later that, there's better people to make friends with and whatnot. And I would have had better direction, better confidence, that kind of thing.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
Started earlier. Most people you hear I started this when I was 6 years old. I started in my early 20s.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. What about you, Austin? Change one thing.
Firstly, I probably would have called you guys about a year earlier. I wish I hadn't put the guitar down. I took lessons when I was a kid and then just quit. And that's a decision that I regret almost every day. So, I wish I was better at guitar. I wish I'd never put that down and made that a priority.
Yeah, it's funny. I play piano, not too much these days, but if I had $1 for everyone who said, I wish I'd kept my piano lessons going.
They say that's the biggest regret among adults in America is that they don't play an instrument. If someone would have told them all that in middle school, that would have been cool. If they could have left me alone in middle school, that'd have been awesome. But being a band kid has become okay. But
absolutely.
I wish I'd played an instrument that I could sing while playing, because believe it or not, the oboe doesn't do that for you. So
I know I can see Jukebox Live with an oboe quartet.
Yeah. I think I almost did I Got You Babe as a single, as a solo with the pa-pas. Just no. I think that's the only one that it would fit in.
It'd be a tough sell, that. I'm going to stay with you, Austin, for the second question. And it's this: your house is on fire. Everyone's out, everyone's safe, all the animals are safe, or you've got your wallet and your cash and your credit cards, but you realize you've got a few seconds you can dash right in and save one thing in your house. What are you going to run in and save?
Okay, sticking with the instrument thing, actually, I'd grab my saxophone. I've got a gorgeous Selmer Mark 7 it was like my first adult purchase that I got right as I was getting out of high school. And even though I don't play as much as I wish I did anymore, it's still kind of an identifier for me. That's the thing that I wish I could travel with more. And that's my first adult purchase.
Okay, cool. What about you, Rob? I know it's not your Apple MacBook because it just.
Yeah, my MacBook just completely died last night, and so that's what we're doing after this. There's two things, and there's a toss-up, and I'll let you guys decide. I'm a diehard Major League Baseball fan, so I have a lot of memorabilia, like Clayton Kershaw autograph balls and things like that, and some Reggie Jackson, just different stuff. But about 2 years ago, I was a contestant on Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady, and I won an 80-inch smart TV. It takes up the whole wall, and it is the coolest thing ever. And so I guess it depends on how bad the fire is, because it's going to be hard to get that TV off the wall and out of here.
Yeah.
So
this may be the Cubs fan in me talking, but you can leave the Dodger stuff and grab the TV. That's my vote. That's my vote.
Dodger fan, die hard. Yeah.
I would keep it. I've actually still got 3 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere around. There was a small period of time there where I was collecting cards.
I will make this a very short story, but when I was a little kid, I would take the baseball cards and mail them to the players. And I didn't realize that if you send a self-addressed envelope, they'd return them with autographs. And I got ones from Steve Garvey and Reggie Jackson and Tony Gwynn and all these people. And then my mom had bought me a new baseball card holder. And so that night I took all the cards out of the old holder and put them into a cardboard box, so they're all loose in there. And then I woke up in the morning to go get them, and my cat had decided that was a litter box. And he had diarrhea.
Oh, that's not good.
So I don't have them anymore.
No.
Bet you don't have the cat anymore either. That'd have been the last day with that kitty cat.
Yeah, and my wife just said she probably threw them out. She just commented on that. I know my favorite baseball memory was I can't remember who was with me, but I was at the game, the Mariners, when Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. hit back-to-back home runs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
Baseball. We need a baseball show. That's what we'll do next. All right.
Baseball games, period. Come on.
Last question. I'm going to start with you, Rob. Conspiracy theories. There's so many of them out there. Is there one particular conspiracy theory that you believe in?
No, I'm usually naive to the point where sometimes I'll go, well, maybe, no. And then I've heard ones about, this silly virus was, manufactured. The whole JFK, Marilyn Monroe thing, that one I'm on the fence about. But everything else, I don't, the Illuminati and things like that, no, I don't believe in that stuff. The Marilyn Monroe is probably the closest one where it makes me actually wonder if that really happened or not. But other than that, Elvis is dead, and Marilyn,
Yeah. What about you, Austin?
Yeah, I don't know that I actually believe in any of them, but the one that always gets my brain working a little bit that I really like is the Mandela effect, which is basically a multiverse theory that says that when large groups of people have a shared memory that is incorrect factually, that's actually a crossover memory from another dimension or whatever. And it's named after Nelson Mandela, obviously, because for some reason there are millions of people who remember him dying in prison. And then all of a sudden he was president. And so, yeah, that's what it's named after. But there's tons of little things like how you spell the Berenstain Bears and all those sorts of things where tons of people remember something incorrectly. And it's probably just group stupidity, but I like believing in the multiverse. I think it's a little more elegant.
Well, we have a guest on next week's show, a friend of ours called Frank Buzzard, and he's done so many things. He's been in mission control. He was the chief engineer on the space shuttle in NASA, was the chief investigator on the Columbia disaster. But he does lectures on it, and he's on next week, and he has a whole theory which is fascinating about the I don't even know if I can explain it right, but it's the time continuum that we have around our universe, not our solar system, but our universe that is not measured in distance, but in time, because it's so many light years away. And his lecture is there is there other life out there? And his response is, well, don't be stupid. Of course there is. And this is why. So it goes into that. And he's on next week, so you should tune into that.
Can't wait.
Excellent. Well, those are three pretty cool answers. I like that. Let's talk about your careers. Again, I like to start with Rob. Rob, you've had a phenomenal career. And as we invited you on TAD Talk, I then started learning about life before magic. So there's some pretty impressive stuff you did in an acting career. Let's see. How did you get started?
Well, I actually, I'm from a town about an hour and a half east of Riverside, or east of LA, called Riverside. And so I was commuting to LA. And then for the first 5 years, or 6, 7 years, I was a full-time actor. As you can see, I was reoccurring on Third Rock from the Sun with John Lithgow, the new Saved by the Bell, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Full House. I was on, I was in The Cable Guy. I had a very small role in The Cable Guy. My lines ended up on the floor, but you can see me in the final cut dressing Jim Carrey in his battle gear in the medieval time scene and then throwing him the battle axe. Yeah, that was just back in August. I did a KFC commercial right there. That's me as the Colonel. That was recent. But yeah, I worked full-time as an actor. And then about, I guess it was in the early 2000s, I was doing a lot of commercials. And my ex-wife had said, hey, I had a lot of money and a lot of free time, and they kind of don't go together. And she said, you need to do something with your time. Why don't you take a class on computers or something? And I said, she kept getting on me about it until one day a community college newspaper came through, and I was going to look at computer classes or something, and it said there was a magician teaching basic magic. And I thought, oh, this will be fun. I can learn a few new party tricks, or maybe learn, to be more outgoing, or have something cool in my back pocket or whatever. And then Screen Actors Guild went on strike, and I had 4 national commercials running at the time and a couple of guest spots, and everything dropped. And the strike lasted and lasted and lasted. And then one day a fellow magician said, hey, can you fill in for me at a party tomorrow doing walk around, strolling close-up magic? And I said, oh, absolutely not. I'm just too shy and whatnot. And he said, no, you're really good and you're funny. And I said, no, I'm good. Thanks. No, I'm good. And then he told me how much it was. And I went, okay, what time to be there? And so then I turned it into a career. And I'd say now that 98% of my 98% of my income is magic. And then the other 2% is acting and whatnot. But yeah, I had quite the career as an actor. That KFC commercial I did back in August, that was fun being the Colonel. And so I actually did Sean Astin. You're talking about Goonies before we started.
Yeah.
So Sean's going to do the intro to my shows for the ships. We're going to get together and do that when the COVID's over. We were talking about it.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if you know my son Nick got engaged in New Zealand last year. Do you know the story about that and how the Sean Astin thing came in? Austin does. So he I'll keep it short, but basically he proposed to his fiancée, his girlfriend, down at Hobbiton. She's a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, outside Bilbo Baggins' Hobbit there. And then once she said yes, he said, hang on, it gets better. And he pulled out a video of Sean saying, hey, Julia, well, if you're watching this video, you must have said yes. And this whole 3.5-minute video from Sean congratulating them.
He is.
Yeah, just a congratulations. He gave some great words of wisdom and advice there. Yeah, it was a great video. It was awesome.
He is a great guy. And we were talking on the set, and I said something about, he is, he looks a lot like me now. And we were talking on the set, and he said, I said something about us looking the same. And he said, look, I'm Rob Rasner. I do magic. And he's pretending to be me and pulling his thumb off. And I said, look, I'm Sean Astin. I'm Lord of the Linking Rings. And I was pretending to bang rings together, And he said, that's really funny. We need to put that as a little 2-minute video and make that the intro to your shows for the ship. And I said, that would be amazing. And he texted back and said, it's done. And then we went right into COVID. And then the short time I was home, he was up in Vancouver doing Supergirl. And now that we're both in town at the same time and live near each other, we can't get together. But we were just texting actually yesterday that we're going to shoot that soon. So
Awesome. Great stuff. If you haven't seen Rob Rasner perform his magic on stage, check this out. You're going to love this.
Rob Rasner.
Yes! Yes! Now tug on the rope. Make sure that it's not stretchy and elastic and all that stuff. All right, you guys play nice. And go ahead and shake hands. Now fight! No, don't. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try. I haven't started yet. I'm going to try to escape from the thing right there. Okay, here we go. Hey, Julia. Queen of Diamonds. No? All right. All right, so I'm going to try to escape. I haven't started yet. We're going to try to... Okay. All right, go ahead and toss back up the balloons. Just throw them up here. Go ahead on the count of 3. No, don't get up. Allow me. I'll get them. Okay, we're good. So, Dave, I'm going to ask you some questions. Is this something that you say that you enjoy doing?
Only on a cruise.
On a cruise. Okay. Fair enough. Would you do this on a first date?
Probably.
Would you?
Yes.
Okay. Lucky girl. Okay, now here's a tricky question. When you do this, does sometimes it get a little bit messy, would you say?
You can ask my wife, she'll say yes.
She would. Okay. Is this your word?
Yes.
Show him. If you walk a little bit off the beaten path, I've kind of noticed this. They have these really cool antique shops. And I found this, like, vintage jewelry cleaner, and I've been dying to try it out. So, yeah, I'm going to clean it for you. Here, hold it up like you're cheersing the audience, like, cheers, you know, so everybody can see it. Okay, and I'm going to get the jewelry cleaner. So I'm going to take your ring and drop it in there, and it's working.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, that's gonna cost you. Whoa!
Okay, put a quarter in. What'd you get? I have one question for you. I know I've only known you for 5 minutes. But is that your ring in the gumball machine? She said yes! She said yes!
Rob Rasner!
Brilliant, Rob. Superb. How much stuff do you carry with you when you're traveling?
3 50-pound bags. We carry on a backpack. That's the hard part.
Yeah. That's tough. How much do you carry, Austin?
A backpack with a USB.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm kidding. They, like you, don't have to, like, I have to have all these bags to, like, sell it. You can just go on your God-given talent.
Jerry can sit down at a piano anywhere. Everybody's got a piano.
There you go.
They bring his stuff for him. It's great.
Hey, Rob, Linda Wolf asked a question here. She said, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you on stage?
Oh my gosh. Man, some of those answers in that particular bit I've heard, if you saw the bit, it says, he's thinking the word eat and I'm showing the word fart. I've said, but he doesn't know it. And I say, have you ever, when you do this, sometimes it get a little bit messy. I've heard answers like, sometimes I have to go and clean up afterward. Asked my wife, she has to deal with it. A guy was thinking barbecue once and said, sometimes I have to wash, it gets on my hands and my face. Things like that. Funny things that happen on stage. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Okay. I was on a ship where half of the passengers were hearing impaired. And so in the late show, they had a translator stand at the edge of the stage and translate all my jokes. And when I got to the fart joke, she was going, like that. And I was trying so hard. And I really wanted to, I know you have to be PC, but I really wanted to go, and then look at her to see how she's going to translate that or whatever. But I kept looking over at her translating my jokes and the way she was interpreting her first facial expressions and all that. It was really giving me a fit not to laugh silly.
Some of the best performers on the planet are sign language interpreters. Those guys are fantastic at telling a story. They really are.
Me during the COVID speeches on TV so much. Yeah.
You know, one of the very first press conferences by President Trump and his task force, Ann and I were sat here very focused on it. It was one of the first ones watching it, and the sign interpreter was there doing all the stuff. And, you know, just very, very animated. And we're watching it and we both made a comment. Have you seen the way she's really getting into this, doing it? And in the middle of the speech from President Trump, he said something about the role that various companies and facilities were going to play in the recovery. And one of the words he used was YMCA. And we fully expected it to go into the She didn't, but we laughed anyway.
Yeah.
Funny stuff. Great career, Rob. Hey, Austin, I'm going to talk about your career, but and this is actually a question for both of you. Comes from Scotty Pearson from TED. Said, what is your favorite destination, cruise ship destination? What is your favorite destination you've ever been to?
I'll defer to Rob first.
Cuba was way cool before they closed. That was neat.
I bet. Very nice. Austin?
It was amazing.
I'm going to go with a different island, actually. Japan was gorgeous. I loved it. The people were so nice. It was so clean. And the 7-Elevens there, you can get a 3-course meal. So it's it's just a lot of fun. Really, really gorgeous. The sunsets over Japan are some of the best on the planet. And I tell people all the time that Oklahoma has the best sunsets on the planet. So I know Arizonans often disagree with me, but Japan might have us both. So
yeah, Japan is great. You should talk to Nick about Japan. He wants to move to Japan or New Zealand. Yeah. Austin, your career, how did that start? Where did it start?
So it kind of started when I got hurt in the final scrimmage before my senior basketball season started. I'd done a couple like musicals and stuff in like middle school. And then I just needed something to do after school because I hurt my knee and I couldn't play that season. So my mom had gotten like this little flyer because we'd gone and seen Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat the summer before. And so they sent a flyer and said, hey, we have an academy, and they were doing Grease. And I said, yeah, I'll go do that. It'll be fun. Walked in just expecting to, be in the Burger Palace Boys or whatever it's called. And I got Kinnicky with this academy for the nice big theater around here. And then I was going to go to school for like pre-law. And the director and choreographer of that Grease show basically said, no, you're not. And so they helped me get auditions for a couple of music theater programs around. And I ended up going to UCO, which is University of Central Oklahoma, pretty close to here, because they're also one of the top jazz programs in America. So it was a perfect little kind of mix of everything I was wanting to do. And then, after that, just kind of been performing, did some theme park stuff. I told Rob I actually spent time as a magician in theme parks, which was a ride. And so much respect for what you do, Rob. It's so hard to make it look that easy. It really, really is. But yeah, and then luckily I kind of stumbled onto cruise ships and have been doing that for the last few years. Did it as a cast member with a couple different companies, and got to perform with Sir Tim Rice last year on board Seabourn, which was just the coolest thing I've ever done. I actually got sick during that show and then had to get some ginger ale and go back on stage. I was so nervous. It was the coolest thing ever.
Wow.
Then about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, having been traveling on ships for so long, kind of seeing what was working and what people weren't doing. And I found what I think is just a little niche that I think I do well, and I put this show together called Jukebox Live. So yeah, that's a tribute to the music and artists of the 50s and 60s. Says it right there. So I do a little Elvis, a little Sam Cooke, Dion and the Belmonts, Carole King, all the way up to, Woodstock rock with Jefferson Airplane and Three Dog Night and the Beatles and stuff. So it's a fun night, and that's kind of what I've been spending my time on artistically lately. But it's been a blast, man. So much good music from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to check out a video of Austin in action. We'll come back and talk about Jukebox after that. Check this out.
Oh, now if your baby leaves you and you got a tale to tell, just take a walk down lonely street. I'll make a tale and tell me they'll be so lonely, baby. They'll be so lonely. They'll be so lonely. Hey, good night. Well, I've never been to heaven, but you better know. But I've been to Oklahoma, yeah. Oh, they tell me I was born there, but I really don't remember. In Oklahoma, not Arizona. What does it matter? What does it matter? This is the moral of the story from a guy who knows. I fell in love and my love still grows. Ask any fool that she ever knew to tell you, keep away from a run around Sue. I say, yeah, keep away from this girl. I don't know what to do. Keep away from Sue. She likes to travel around, yeah. She loves you, then she put you down. Now people, let me put you on. Well, Sue goes out with other guys. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Johnny, be good. Jason Hunt, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best guitar solo since Back to the Future.
Okay, I missed the Back to the Future joke. What's the Back to the
I try to do a bunch of songs from the 50s and 60s that people don't know that they remember. Like Sea Cruise, I do Won't You Let Me Take You on a Sea Cruise, and I tell people, yeah, the Frankie Ford Sea Cruise, and no one ever remembers it until they hear it, and then they immediately start singing along. That being said, though, if you're going to do a show from the 50s and 60s, I think there's just a couple songs you have to do. So I always do Johnny Be Good. And when the guitar really rips, that's my favorite joke after that song is that's the best guitar solo since Back to the Future. Marty McFly just kills it. So yeah, have to. I know you guys. I know the Davies family are big Back to the Future fans. So that was
big time? Big time, yeah. He's stumbled into it by buying Nick a DVD set when he was younger, and he thought it was the worst Christmas present ever, and it turned out to be the most impactful. But yeah, Nick and I went to Manchester to see Back to the Future, the musical. It was fantastic. I mean, just everything that we were so hyped. It could have been the worst musical, but it really was one of the best things we've ever seen. And I don't know if you know the story. I'm not going to spend too much time now, but the show's over, and we're just hanging out there with our friends Sam and Jack, and he's waiting for the theater. He just wanted to take it, and he turns around, and Nick goes, "Holy shit, there's Alan Silvestri and Bob Gale." So the writer of Back to the Future and the guy that wrote the soundtrack was 6 rows behind us, stood there. So, of course, Nick, being shy, ran over to them and wanted to talk about it, but way cool. Jukebox Live, we're going to bring this to Phoenix, to our over 55 communities in 2018. and 21, because we will be back doing concerts in 2021. But we just had a couple of people from the over 55 resort saying, are we bringing this show? So yes, we are bringing this show to Phoenix. So call 775260069 now and ask for Austin Morris's Jukebox Live. It's going to be great. One thing I would love to touch on before we jump ahead with the show, Austin, is another skill that you have that you're starting to use a lot, and that is writing copy, writing bios, and to improve artists. Tell us a little bit about that, because I found that.
Yeah, it's kind of something I stumbled into. I've always just kind of been an idea guy, kind of a creative guy. And a lot of friends, as I was getting in my 20s, started their own businesses and stuff. And we'd be talking about it and like, hey, will you look at my website? Will you look at this? Hey, we're thinking about doing this. And I kind of do some strategizing with them, designed a few logos, not graphic, sketched out a few logos that they took to an actual designer, and just started kind of doing some brand stuff. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I realized that there was even a name for what I was doing. Kind of brand strategizing and mostly copywriting, which is has nothing to do with trademarks. Copywriting is writing the actual copy, which is any sort of writing with the intent to help sell. So the emails you get every day from every company and the product descriptions on Amazon. Anyway, I started kind of making a side business out of that, and have been able to really ramp that up kind of this year. That's been fun doing just kind of marketing, writing, and all those sorts of things. And doing it with larger companies is amazing. But something I really love is that, every performer knows that we are a small business. And so thinking of ourselves that way and understanding that our websites are important. Our bios are important when we're on ships. They read the bio to know if they want to come to your show. And the performers all know that the language and words have power, which is beautiful and why we love what we do. But I think we forget to utilize those for ourselves sometimes, especially as we're marketing ourselves as a small business. We've got a product, which is ourselves and our show. And at the end of the day, as much as we love performing it, we can't do that if we don't sell it. So just kind of the business aspect of show business. My professor always used to quote somebody that says, if it wasn't a business, it would be called show. It's been a lot of fun. And then that's kind of also just, creativity breeds creativity. So I've been able to start putting together a couple new shows, either for myself or as a duo, or that I may be able to perform someday or sell to somebody someday. That's kind of what I've been doing. And it's led to helping a couple other people with solo shows and stuff, kind of put their scripts together. The patter, like I said, I used to do some magic at theme parks and stuff, and writing patter, that in between is really what keeps the show moving. It doesn't matter how pretty your song is or how impressive your trick is. It's the in-between where they really get to know you and kind of get a glimpse into your sense of humor and your personal style and your personality is sometimes the most important parts of the show. And I think sometimes it's the ones we most neglect because we just want to get to the next song because that's what we do best. So collaborating with all that it's been a really, really fun year and a half, just kind of getting to create in a kind of a different way than just performing on stage. So it's been awesome.
Cool stuff, and do a great job with it. What about part of the show where we go, where in the world is Terry?
Where in the world is Terry? Where in the world is Terry?
All right, where in the world am I? I can tell you where I really am. I'm not at this coffee shop. It's not open yet, but I'm in Phoenix at home. I'm going to change the background on my screen, but I'm going to put myself in a movie. You got to tell me what movie I'm in. So I'm not going to give you a clue because I think the movies are quite easy today. I think you're actually going to nail this, which only means if you don't, then you suck. So we're going to start with you, Rob.
Great.
I'm going to change my background. I want to see how long it takes you to tell me what movie I'm in. Here we go.
The Jurassic Park.
No.
Really? What is that? Aviator.
Yeah, nearly.
Sorry, my screen is a little small here. Aviator. Okay.
Not Aviator, but it's similar.
Oh, not Aviator. What's it called? Oh my gosh!
It's got an extra letter or two.
Yeah, with the purple people that.
Yeah, it's like the little icon thing.
What was it called?
It's Fern Gully.
No, not Fern Gully. What was it? Not Aviator. What's the name of the? I'm sorry.
It's Avatar.
Avatar. That's what I meant. That's exactly.
I got half a point for the Aviator. It was nearly right.
I knew what I was thinking.
DiCaprio, Howard Hughes, also a good movie.
Say again?
The Aviator, DiCaprio, Howard Hughes, also a good movie. Just not so purple.
Well, like just a bit outside.
Austin, this one should be pretty easy, but let's see how you do with this. I'm going to try and cover up a few things to make it not so...
I knew his.
Any ideas?
No. Who's the little? Oh, is this Benjamin Button?
It is.
There we go. There we go. We got there.
I just rewatched that, actually. There you go. That wasn't too bad today, was it?
No. I'm just glad we didn't do Where Are You in the World, because I'm horrible at that game.
Oh, the geography thing?
Yeah, and I've been a gazillion places, but I'm horrible at that.
Well, good. Let's try you out then. Where am I?
What is that? I don't know. I don't know. It's Europe somewhere.
Well, that's right. How about you, Austin? You can both go at this one. I'll give you a clue. ABBA.
Oh, Switzerland, Sweden. Where are they from?
Yeah, Sweden.
Sweden. So Sweden.
Can we go back to the movies?
Yeah. That's
3 or 4 more movies in the amount of time it's going to take me to get this one.
What's the major city in Sweden, Austin?
What was that?
What's the major city in Sweden? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly. That's where I'm at.
They say the city you should go to is Gothenburg.
Oh, yeah, the other one. Duh.
The other one is Stockholm.
Yeah.
Stockholm.
There you go. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, guys, we ask a question on every show. Love the answers to this. Here it is. If you could spend 60 minutes with any 2 people, dead or alive, anywhere in the world, who would you like to spend the next hour with? Where would you go? And what would you talk about? Austin, we're going to start with you. 2 people, 1 place.
Oh, this one's hard. Sinatra. And either I'm gonna go with my grandfather. I really want to say Michael Jordan. I really want to say Michael Jordan, but we're gonna leave him out. And me and my grandfather, who if you notice this plane, that's from my grandfather, who's a pilot.
Aviator.
Yeah, exactly. He was an aviator. Perfect. Full circle. That's a throwback. Where would we go? We'd probably, just because we're with Sinatra, we'd probably have to go to a show at the Sands and just and talk there. And honestly, I talked to my grandfather just because we lost him when I was 15. I want to get that, what it means to be a man speech that your grandfather gives you, Yeah. So I'd love to get that. And then Sinatra, man, there's just nobody better. Like we were talking about in between the songs, there is nobody better in between the songs than Frank Sinatra. So just learning about what it meant to relax and let the audience come to you and just enjoy your time with them. I mean, some words of wisdom on that. I can't imagine what he'd have to say.
What about you, Rob? 2 people, 1 place.
Well, for the family thing, it would be my grandparents who are long gone, and they had a boat in San Diego that was important. I would just love to spend some family time with them. But the people that, the greats, as you will, I would love to sit down with James Dean and Elvis Presley, probably. I'm a huge Elvis fan. I think he's Michael Jackson also is a favorite, but I think a conversation with Elvis would be a lot easier. So maybe a tour of Graceland you know, and just chat about what makes him, how he found his unique style and voice and whatnot. And then James Dean, how the type of dedication he would use to get into his roles, the concentration to like wipe everything else out and be completely focused 100%.
Absolutely.
Probably my favorite of all time.
Oh, absolutely. I went to Graceland last year for the first time. It was fantastic.
That's part of what took me so long to put my own script together, because I start my show with Elvis and I should have been like researching to write the script, but I just, for weeks, I was just reading Elvis stories, and man, the impact he had on the industry cannot be overstated.
Oh, absolutely. And just going back to Where in the World and your answers on that, Jan Stenning, who you both know because she represents you, just came on and delicately said, "You guys suck." So there you go.
She's not wrong. I DVR Jeopardy. That's like the old man that I am. I watch it all the time, and the rounds I know I'm not going to get any on are always geography, and that's ridiculous. Since like Rob,
honestly, those who are not good at school become entertainers. I'll tell you this story very, very quickly, but I do a bit in my show where I switch a heavy object out for a light object, and I throw it at the audience, and it makes them jump. And I was doing a very, very, very high-end private party in the Bel Air neighborhood of Los Angeles, and I threw it at the audience, and there was a lady, imagine like mid-60s, like jewels, painted, a low-cut dress, and a flamboyant gentleman next to her, and she got so scared she threw her wine into her own face, hit the guy next to her, and the wine went across him and covered in it. And I stopped immediately. I'm like, "Sir, ma'am, I'm so sorry. Please, I will, take care of the cleaning bill. I am so sorry." Anyway, long story short, at the end of the show, she was laughing. Sorry. I said, "Seriously, I'm going to take care of that cleaning bill," thinking that's not even going to cover my expensive fee, wouldn't even cover that cleaning bill with what they were wearing. They were laughing so hard. She tipped me $500 and said that was the most fun we've ever had. And so I called my mom and said, "Mom," when I got up, I was laughing so hard. I said, "Mom, remember when you told me my sense of humor was never going to pay off? This lady just threw wine into her own face and gave me $500, whatever, extra." So those who cannot do school do comedy and magic.
Absolutely. What a great show today. This has been a ball. It's been great. You two are fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know Austin's in Oklahoma. Where are you, Rob? Where are you located?
Los Angeles.
Okay, which part? Which part of LA?
Oaks, in the San Fernando Valley.
Did you say Sherman Oaks?
Yeah.
All right, cool. When we first came here, we lived in Granada Hills, just up the road.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, great having you on the show. It's been phenomenal. I hope everyone's enjoyed the show. We got some great people coming out for the rest of season 2. Tomorrow, we're going to be joined by a good friend of mine called Vijay Amritraj, Indian tennis player at Wimbledon all those years. He beat Bjorn Borg, beat John McEnroe, all of those. He actually thrashed Bjorn Borg. I'm going to be talking about that. And then after his career, went to acting, was in the James Bond movie Octopussy, amongst other things. And then recently, the last 15 years, started the Vijay Amritraj Foundation, which is one of the most amazing charitable organizations out there. So he's going to be my guest on the show, and another guest star tomorrow. It's going to be great. Rob, Austin, thanks so much for joining us today. We've had
Well, thanks for having us. These are amazing. You guys have been insane, doing so much, being so active with your webinars and just keeping us informed on what's going on. And these shows are a high point of the day.
Yeah.
So thanks so much.
Real quick, I feel so blessed to be part of such an amazing family. Everybody at TAD's wonderful. These videos are great. You guys work so hard doing this, and I'm so appreciative of working on the ships and it's just such a blessing. It's such a blessing. And like one of my fellow guest entertainers recently said, it's like, no matter how hard it is with traveling and whatnot, sometimes we really hit the lottery. And it's so amazing. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and blessed.
Well, we work hard, but we try to keep ourselves sane and everybody else. But mostly, I'm blessed with a team of people that they're just the best. They really are. We love what we do. So this is not a chore. We're loving this, and we'll get to the other side of it, and we'll hopefully live in a bigger, better, stronger, kinder world. So once again, thanks to our producer, Ross Caligieri, who's on the other side of this dimensional wall. It's been great. We'll see you tomorrow for TAT Talk. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Thanks again.